So hello guys, this is Ishwar Sai Marthi Prasad from Factsite YouTube channel, and today I have brought the episode 6 of the History of Pandemics and Epidemics in India and in other countries series. So in this video we are going to discuss about the third and the last outbreak of plague in India and China, which is the third plague. So without doing time waste, let's begin episode. Now let's discuss about this hazardous outbreak. The name of this outbreak is Third Plague Pandemic. The Third Plague Pandemic was active year 1885. The starting place of Third Plague is China in Yunnan province. The location which were badly affected due to Third Plague were India and China. And the cause of the Third Plague is, as we all know, bubonic plague is the best known form of the disease plague. The symptoms of Third Plague were abdominal pain, diarrhea, vomiting, chills, fever, extreme weakness, skin turning into black, swelling, and etc. Guys, now let's discuss about the beginning of plague. The first two major plague pandemics began with the plague of Justinian and the Black Death in 1347. The most recent plague is called as Third Plague, erupted in 1885 in China, Yunnan province. The disease traveled the globe over the next several decades, and by the beginning of 20th century, infected rats traveling on the steamships have carried it to 6 continents. The worldwide outbreak would eventually claim some 15 million lives before ending in the 1950. Most of the devastation took place in the China and India during the Third Plague time. Despite the heavy casualties in the third pandemic led to several breakthroughs in doctors' understanding for the bubonic plague. In 1894, a Hong Kong-based doctor named Alexandre Yersin identified the cause of the disease. A few years later, another physician finally confirmed that the fleas would bite the rats and they were the main reason of the spread of the infection to the humans. The plague, which was brought from the ships to British India, killed 10 million people in Mumbai. In September 1896, the first case of the bubonic plague was detected in Mandvi by Acacio Gabriel Villegas. He was a medical practitioner born in Goa and helped several lives in Mumbai plague. Dr. Villegas correctly diagnosed the disease as bubonic plague and attended to the patient's great personal risk. He initiated the aggressive campaign to clean up the slums and exterminate rats who were carrying the disease plague bacterium. With his diagnosis proving to be correct, the governor of Mumbai invited W.M. Havkine, who had later formulated a vaccine for cholera, to do same for the epidemic. In first year of the plague, a research laboratory was set up at the JJ Hospital. It moved in 1899 to the Government House in Par under the directorship of Havkine. This was the beginning of Havkine Institute. Mandvi was an overcrowded port. People used to live in congested rooms in the buildings and chawl with lack of ventilation and hygiene with presence of too many rats. Buildings which used to flow continuously, causing damp conditions, making a good breeding surface for the plague bacilli caused by the rats. Almost all the cases were bubonic, with only a very small percentage changing to pneumonic plague. This disease was initially seen in port cities beginning with Bombay, but later it entered the cities like Pune, Calcutta and Karachi. Now it is in Pakistan. Overall, the impact of plague pandemics was greater in western and the northern side of the India, but there was not big impact in the eastern and the southern part of the India. Now let's discuss how was the plague end. The measures that are taken by the British government to control the disease are: number 1, quarantine; number 2, isolation camps; number 3, travel restrictions and exclusion of India's trade; number 4, restrictions on the populations of the coastal cities were established by special plague committees with overreaching powers enforced by the British military. Number 5. Since the plague has spread to rural areas, enforcement in large geographical areas would be impossible. British health officials then began to press for widespread of vaccination by using Valdemar Havkine's plague vaccine. Number 6. They destroyed several hundreds of slums and set up isolations for the infected people. They also evacuated houses, de-roofed and sabotaged many of them. Houses were searched and anyone with minor of ailments was dragged to hospital only to die of other infections. Number 7. The clothes were all burned down and new clothes were provided to the survivors in the hope to save them. Now let's discuss about the mortality rate of this plague. Bombay, being emerging financial capital, attracted large influx of working class people. The census in the year 1891, the population of Bombay was counted to be 8,20,000. Most of the immigrant workers, over 70%, lived in chawls. The disease spread rapidly to other parts of the city. The death toll was estimated at 1,900 people per week. Through the rest of the year, many people fled from the city. In the census of 1901, the population fallen to 7,80,000. Epidemics Diseases Act in 1897. COVID-19 and Epidemic Disease Act in 1897. With a rise in COVID-19 cases across the globe and in India, the states in India have gone into battle mode to contain the spread of COVID-19. All states and the union territories have been directed on 11th March 2020 to invoke provisions of 123 years old Section 2 of the Epidemic Diseases Act in 1897, so that Health Ministry, which is the union, and the state governments' advisories are enforceable. States are taking strict measures to contain the spread of the virus. It is said that action will be taken against such suspect case or confirmed individuals who do not take sufficient measures or actions for the prevention or treatment. The epidemic is routinely enforced across the country for dealing with outbreak of diseases such as swine flu, dengue and cholera. It is a state act and not a central act. What is Epidemic Diseases Act in 1897? The Epidemic Diseases Bill was tabled on January 28, 1897 during an outbreak of bubonic plague in Mumbai by British colonial government. It is state government act. The act strives to protect the common citizens in particular area during the outbreak of an epidemic or a dangerous disease. The colonial era Epidemic Diseases Act consists of 4 sections and aims to provide for better prevention of the spread of dangerous epidemic diseases. Section 1 of that act describes the title and the extent of the act. Section 2 empowers state governments and union territories to formulate regulations to contain the outbreak. When the state government is satisfied that the state is threatened and with an outbreak of any dangerous epidemic disease, and if it that the ordinary provisions of the law are insufficient for the purpose, then the state may take or require or empower any person to take some measures and by public notice prescribe such temporary regulations to be observed by the public. Number 2. The state government may prescribe regulations for the inspection of persons traveling by railways or others, segregation in hospitals, temporary accommodation or others, persons suspected by the inspecting officers of being infected with such disease. Section 3. Provision 3 provides penalties for the disobeying and any regulation made under the Act. Number 1. IPC Section 188 states that in case a person does not honor or refuses to honor the public order issued public servant, the punishment in such case is up to 1 month jail or up to fine of 200 rupees or both of the jail punishment and the fine punishment. Number 2. In case the general public suffers due to refusal of person to follow the public order, the punishment is up to 6 months of the jail or fine of 2,000. The Act provides for 6 months imprisonment or 1,000 rupees fine or both on person disobeying the Act. Section 4. 4 deals with the legal protection to implementing the officers acting under the Act. Guys, now let's discuss about amendment to the Act. Recently in Indore, some people attacked on a health worker and also in Bangalore, some other people attacked on police officers, by which to safeguard the life of the health workers and the police officers and to save those who serve the country better without any fear, they designed the amendment to the Act. Recently, the cabinet amended the Act through an ordinance stating that commission or amendment of acts of violence against healthcare service. Personnel shall be punished with imprisonment for a term of 3 months to 5 years and with fine of rupees 50,000 to rupees 2 lakh. In case of causing grievous hurt, imprisonment shall be term to 6 months to 7 years and fine is up to 1 lakh to 5 lakhs. In addition, the offender shall also be liable to pay compensation to the victim and twice the fair market value for damage of the property. This includes living or working premises or car and etc. This is not the first time that this law is being invoked in India. In examples where it was being used earlier is 2019, the district collector of Gujarat's Vadodara issued a notification under the act declaring the Edkarmasia village cholera affected. In 2019, to deal with malaria and dengue in Chandigarh, the act was implemented. In 2009, to tackle the swine flu outbreak in Pune, Section 2 of the was enforced to open screening centers in civic hospitals across the city and swine flu was declared notifiable disease. Notifiable disease is any disease that is required by the law to be reported to the government authorities. What are the limitations of the law? The Epidemic Diseases Act 1897 has numerous limitations, as it does not explain many ambiguous terms within its provisions, nor provides due to procedures that are to be taken during the times of crisis. It does not provide for accountability and transparency of the government. This law requires changes-based, rights-based approach that upholds the right to treatment and care. Changes are also required so that the Act specifies the public health obligations of the government. For better accountability, should specify roles and responsibilities of each department and nodal agencies for prevention and the control of the epidemics. For instance, the Disaster Management Act 2005 describes in detail when to act, who should act, what measures are to be taken at different levels, how to implement, how to coordinate, and what are the roles of the different responsibilities of each department and authorities during the emergencies. This law does not provide an ethical framework or protection of human rights during the response to the epidemic. This necessary are during the times of emergency. There may be little to no consideration for the ethics.